Hi, this is Rahul, and in this video, I'm going to talk about iOS development. So, okay, so my main agenda is like people don't have an idea like what are different technologies or framework available for any development. So, if we talk about iOS app development, there are multiple technologies, and I'm going to talk about them, and I have listed them in the like reverse order of learning time. So the technology which takes minimum time to learn and get started is on the top. For example, this Ionic framework is on the top. Why? Because it takes minimum time learning curve, and this is actually a cross-platform app development, and it is used for both iOS as well as Android app development. And this is known as a hybrid app technology. So what is a hybrid app technology? So basically, what happens? Let's suppose we are building a web application or website, and suppose we have a similar, like a very different technology, which is known as Swift. If many of you might be aware, like Swift is a framework for developing native, truly native iOS applications using Swift. Okay, so Swift is used for truly native iOS application. This is the official framework of Apple, and other things are like derived from the Swift UI. Suppose I have to develop a component of React Native, so it will translate into a Swift UI component, but because that is the actual uh, component which Apple understands. Okay, so whatever React Native does or any other technology does, like Flutter, Xamarin, or Ionic, all this translate into Swift UI, but Ionic is a little bit different. So it is a, you can say this is it comes in under the classification of a hybrid technology. What is hybrid? So hybrid means it is a mix of both. So what is a both? So one is web development, like websites, web applications, and one is your native application, like you build a mobile app, truly mobile app. Okay, so when we combine web applications and truly native app applications, so it becomes a hybrid. So using Ionic, what happens is you are able to develop mobile apps which can be installed on iOS, but internally it is a mix of web applications. Like internally it is nothing but a website only. Just think like that. It has a web page which is built in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and is running as a mobile app. Okay, just think like that. Okay, it is not like a true picture, but yeah, similar to that. Okay, so internally it is a web application, plus it will obviously have some capability of a native app. For example, you to access camera or any other thing of mobile which is very specific to mobile or iOS or whatever. So then you need some native components also. So hybrid has like Ionic has all those components needed. So that's why Ionic comes into what I can say as a hybrid mobile app. Okay. Now, okay. Now the second type of uh, cross-platform development is like native app development. So React Native, as the name suggests, native. So it is the output is always a native app. It is nowhere like is a web app inside like a wrapper. Okay, which happens in Ionic. Okay, so the performance is as good as any native iOS app. Suppose you're developing in Swift UI and you're developing in React Native, you will not feel any difference because the output will be the same. Okay, it has limitation, like because you are using one single app which will target both iOS and uh, Android. So it will, you might not be able to write a single code which will work like at the both ends. Okay, so that is the some limitations. Obviously, it will have, but that is like very limited for like very high performant app. So if you're building very high performant app, then you can go for Swift UI. Otherwise, React Native is very good and Flutter is also very good. and these two are in very equal demand. Okay, but it takes time to learn React Native and Flutter because you have to learn HTML, JavaScript, CSS, then React Native, and multiple things. So React Native is not, I will say, easy. It takes time. Flutter also takes some time. Okay, because it is a React Native, like app native technology, but it's a good. But if you want the fastest thing, then Ionic is a good. Okay, and it also has a lot of jobs. But I'll not talk about the salary right now, but let me finish the development time. Salary part I will come to later. But if in terms of learning, Ionic is easiest as compared to any other. Now these three, Flutter, Xamarin, and React Native, are used for native web development, which is cross-platform. We target both. And Swift UI is the like truly native platform provided by the Apple, and you can use if you want to develop only this thing, but it takes time because you have to understand how Apple like design framework works and what is the design language of Apple. Like many things are there, so it takes time to learn Swift UI. And so one thing is which I wanted to talk about is that see when you talk about mobile app, so mobile app is nothing but a combination of UI plus backend. So many times we are not clear what we are learning, correct? So for example, let's suppose you open a app, Facebook, okay? So what you see on your mobile is nothing but the UI. When you click on a button, something happens. It sends some data to the backend. Something happens. Now, now for that we have separate APIs available, like API available. So generally, what happens most of the time, if you're a mobile app developer, you will be developing mostly the UI, not the backend. It may happen in some companies you might be developing backend, but most of the case you will be developing the framework like UI. For example, this Ionic is like completely UI. This React Native is completely UI. This is also completely UI. This is not completely UI because it is in C sharp, which is a like a backend language too. So it is like combination of both UI as well. We can write APIs in Xamarin. So there's a way, but you can develop only UI is possible in this thing. And Swift UI is again it is like combination of both UI plus it can have some backend capabilities also. But generally, suppose right now, let's suppose some companies developing APIs in Java or in .NET, and how do they integrate with Swift UI? So anyway, we are going to use API or a REST API framework generally, most of the cases. So just think about this thing that when you talk about you want to become a mobile app developer, you're mainly talking about the front end, like the UI part, how it will look like, how it will interact with the user from UX point of view. So you become a iOS developer, no issues with that thing, but mostly will not work with the backend. You will work mostly with the front end. Okay, and iOS is like Ionic is like the least time it will take. React Native and Flutter and Gemini will take some time to learn development, and Swift UI will take the most time, but it will the result will be also good. Like you will be developing very high quality apps, and salary wise, you will also get very good salary because like developing a truly native iOS app is really in very good high demand, and salary wise also salary part I'm just going to discuss. But yeah, so this is with this thing I will not end the video, but yeah, end this discussion that which is the fastest way. So if you want the fastest way, you learn Ionic to simple. If you want to have more time, just explore further and React Native, maybe Xamarin. But Xamarin will not recommend directly. You can explore, but I will recommend you Flutter and React Native. That is my recommendation based on the current job market. I will show you in a bit the job market and all those things. Swift UI definitely will recommend if you have time, but if you want the fastest way, then go for Ionic or React Native is also good. It will not take much time, but it will take some time because React Native is also not simple. It takes time, and Flutter is also not simple, but it takes time. But uh, Ionic is like not very complex. It is like you can learn in very less time. Okay, and if you want to like build very good iOS app and you think Swift UI will take more time, you don't have, let's suppose, Mac PC and all those things. Sometimes it happens. Then you can directly learn React Native and Flutter. and you can test all those things on your like Windows machine also, because this is also one of the key area which people like have some question about. Okay, I have a Windows machine, can I develop iOS app? Yes, you can. Okay, might not be using 50y because I'm not sure, but uh, as far as I know, that 50y will need you to have a Mac operating system, something like that. But that is not the case with React Native, Flutter, or Xamarin, because these are cross-platform apps. Okay, Ionic is like very easy. Don't need to worry about much about this thing. So yeah, so what is the job prospect like if you're learning this thing, Ionic, React Native, Flutter? What is the salary comparison? Just I will compare it, and I'll end this video. Okay, so if I go and type just a minute. Okay, so if I go and search iOS, and let me search and see what are technology they are looking for. So, so if you see, generally if you see iOS developer, they will say, okay, if you're iOS developer, you should know Swift framework, which is like understandable. We can understand that thing, like why they need, yeah. But if let's suppose this job, if you see, like they are looking for a cross platform developer, then if you see what they are looking for in terms of uh, they are looking for many things. I will open up some other jobs. Mm, you can see this job, and you can see the salary also. You can see 4 to 9, and salary is also very good. Okay, and what is they are requiring? Flutter. Okay, which will be used for iOS as well as Android. Okay, so Flutter is the framework here, if you see, and yeah, and how to use REST APIs like for backend and all those things. Backend you don't need to worry about. You will get mostly you'll get a have a backend team which will work on this thing. Okay, and this is also see very good package, and they're looking for iOS Swift. Okay, this is like truly native app, but if I search more, mm, then you can see Flutter. Flutter is also again you can see Flutter. You're seeing Flutter and uh, if yeah, you can see React Native, this one. So this is for React Native, and they're looking for both iOS and Android. Okay, 6 plus, and you can see, yeah. So like you can see most if iOS is there, so they will look for Swift. But yeah, you can see Xamarin here also. Okay, so see different company will have different requirement. I'm just showing you the examples. Okay, Ionic we didn't see, but I can like if I go in the search Ionic, you'll see Ionic also. You can see Ionic and iOS. Okay, it's combination of both. So yeah, Ionic framework developer, like hybrid experience in iOS and Android. So I showed you all the like jobs which require all the technology. Like some most of the jobs require Swift UI, Swift knowledge. Then we see Flutter, we saw React Native, we saw Xamarin, and we saw Ionic. So all are there. These are all major framework which is used in iOS as well as Android, except the Swift. Swift is used only for iOS, and there is a number one technology, but it takes time to learn. If you want less time to learn, and you can like have more job prospect because you will be also developing iOS, Android apps. Okay, so that's the companies are preferring React Native and Flutter developers very like high in demand these technologies. सो अगर आपको अच्छा ऐप मोबाइल ऐप डेवलपर बनना है स्पेशली iOS पे, तो अगर आप बोलते हो सिर्फ मुझे iOS पे ही बनना है, तो यू कैन गो फॉर स्विफ्ट यूआई, बट इट विल टेक टाइम। वो यू हैव टू थिंक अबाउट दैट थिंग। बट इफ यू वांट टू से ओके सर मुझे iOS पे काम करना है, मोबाइल ऐप डेवलपर बनना है, and I don't want to take too much into learning in the starting. Maybe in future you can learn, but in the starting you want to get into that. You want to get your hands dirty and like get a job and then start a career. Then I can say you can go for React Native, Flutter, and even Ionic also is good. Ionic, I will say I will not recommend that. Okay, you go for that thing, but it is not bad either. It is good if you want like have to have like you don't have that much time and you don't want because React Native and Flutter will take you like it require more skills in terms of programming and understanding the framework. Ionic is like you don't have to worry too much about. It is like you don't just understand HTML, JavaScript, and some uh, like how mobile app works, and that's it. Okay, not too much of a skill required here, but React Native and Flutter will test your like learning capabilities. So it is not easier, okay, but definitely it is easy than working on the Swift framework directly. So now with this thing, I will stop this video. I hope that you will learn, like you will get much like clarity on like how to become an iOS developer and what are different ways and what which framework will take more time and what should be your consideration. So I will not say this is a total detailed video about each of the framework. Maybe in future I can make separate videos for every framework, how much time it takes and all those things. But this is just giving you like an overview, like what are the technologies available and then what is the like time learning curve and time to like master these things and what are the job prospect. Okay, so with this I will end this video. I hope you will like take something from this thing and okay, thank you for now.